As an adult, everyone has to be able to have a checking account and a savings account. What we are going over today is something called a checking account. To be able to spend the money in your checking account, you have to be able to put money into your checking account. The word used that means to put money into your account is something called deposit ticket. Anytime you go to a bank and you want to put money into the bank, you have to fill out one of these forms. So we're going to practice here filling out one of these forms. First thing you do on the top is always write your name and then write the date below. When you think of deposit, I want you to think of to put in. You are adding to your balance, which means the money that you have. Okay, so once you got that, you're going to go over to where it says list checks singly. Okay, because we are going to deposit a check. We are going to deposit a check for $10. So on the side over there, you're going to write the amount of $10. Notice how there's a decimal point right there. So you have to make sure to put the 10.00 for 10. Okay, so notice how there are 3 lines for list checks singly. That is in case you want to deposit 3 checks. But here we are just going to deposit 1 check. So we're going to leave the other 2 lines blank. Okay? Once we do that, we go down to subtotal. Since we only deposited 1 check, our subtotal is also $10. So in that blank line, you can go ahead and put $10. Okay. The next line is a little tricky. It says less cash received. To understand what that means, I want you to look below what it says underneath the date. That says signature required if you want cash back. Okay, because sometimes when you deposit money, you don't want to deposit that entire check. You may want a couple dollars in cash back. Okay, but in this case, we do not want any cash back. We want to deposit all of the $10. So we're going to leave that line blank. Okay, so since we left that line blank, we didn't want any cash back, our net deposit is also going to be $10. So we're going to go ahead and put $10 on that line. Okay, and then back again to where it says signature. We do not sign that because we do not want any cash back. So this is what a deposit ticket would look like if we had a check for $10 and we wanted to deposit all of that $10. Once you deposit this money, you have to make sure to keep track of your balance. So let's go down and look at the 3rd form here, which you will also find in any checkbook. This form, just like it says up there, it records all charges and credits that affect your account. Okay, so this is what's called a check register page. This is where we will keep track of our balance. You will see balance up in the top right-hand corner. Okay, since this was our first paycheck we've ever had, our balance to start with was 0. So where it's underneath balance, we can go ahead and put 0. Okay, so now on that line, we're going to go ahead and leave number blank because we're not looking at check numbers yet. And then we always write the date, so we're going to write today's date, 9/20, and then transaction description. Okay, all we got to do there is write deposit because that's what we're doing. We're making a deposit. So we just have to write the word deposit because we just added money, and every time you do something, you got to keep track of it. Because a responsible adult knows how much money they have in their account so they don't overspend. So now we're going to go over to, there's 2 sections here. It either says payment, that's if we are spending money, or the other one is deposit. That is what we are doing. We are putting money into our account. We put in $10, so we're going to write 10 there. Okay? So now we just added $10. So now we go over to that far right column where we keep track of our balance. Since we started with 0, we just do 0 plus 10. We put a little plus sign next to the 10 number, and then on the gray line, we will write our new balance, which is, of course, $10. Okay, so So now, and then just go ahead and circle our new balance. So we always, and we'll do that every time we either deposit money or we spend money. So we can keep track and know exactly how much money we have. Okay, so now we have $10 in our bank account. Now we are ready to spend some money. So now let's look at a check. Let's go up to the check. Okay, usually all check blanks will have the name already given on the top. But in this case with J. Bistown does not. So let's go ahead and write your name at the top. They will also have the date on it, but not for J. Bistown. So in this case, let's go ahead and write the date at the top. 9/20/2012. Okay, so paid to the order on the left hand. Go ahead and point to where it says paid to the order. What that means, pay to the orders, that is where you are spending money. Okay, let's say that we go to Walmart. So this go ahead, we just write the words Walmart there. Now this say we buy a football. We buy a football for $6. So in the blank where the box is, we put the number 6. Now in the next line, it's a little tricky. This line we also have to say how much money we are spending, but we actually write it out. Okay, so in this case we write $6. $6. And we write the word and if you know, if you're familiar with the math, whenever you say the word and, that is referring to decimal point. Okay, since there is no cents, we put the number 00, and then we write a line and then underneath it we write over 100, because it's 0 cents out of 100 cents, and then we write a line going across the rest of the page. Now there's 2 lines at the bottom that are important. In the bottom left hand corner it says memo. You don't always need to fill out the memo, but what that means is that's what you spent money on. As I said before, we spent money on football, so just go ahead and write football there. Okay, and in the bottom right hand corner there is a blank line. This is very important. That's where you put your signature. And remember, there's a difference between signature and printing your name. So one thing, whenever you sign, you should always try to sign it the same way every time. Whenever you sign any type of form. Okay, so now you just spent $6. So of course your balance changed. So now you have to scroll back down again. And you just, let's say you want to spend $6. So it's the same date, 9/20. And you spent $6. The transaction description, that's where you wrote, where did you spend the money? You spent it at Walmart. So you spent $6. In this case, we're going to write the $6 under payment. And you look underneath payment, how it even gives a little subtract sign, because you spent money, so you are subtracting from your balance. So underneath the $10, after you deposited the $10 from your paycheck, you are going to subtract $6. So we're going to subtract 6 on the white line, and on the gray line, we're going to write $4. And that is our new balance. So now we have $4 left in our balance. This is the simplest form of being able to deposit, being able to keep track, and being able to spend money. We will get into much more complex ones where you're depositing multiple checks, where there is change involved, and when you ask for cash back.